Yellowstone tour van crash. Major police update after 7 people killed in smash. When a Dodge Ram pickup collided with a Mercedes passenger van in Idaho, near Yellowstone National Park, 7 people, 6 of whom were tourists, suffered fatal injuries. A pickup truck which collided with a tour van near Yellowstone National Park, killing 7 people, veered into the oncoming lane, police say. Investigators say the Dodge Ram truck careered into the Mercedes passenger van, which, in addition to the driver, was transporting 12 Chinese tourists and an Italian tourist. 5 of the Chinese tourists, the Italian tourist and the pickup driver, Ise Moreno, died in the crash on Thursday evening. While police have identified the truck crossed the center line of the rural road, they say they are still investigating what caused Mr. Moreno, 25, to do this. Idaho State Police understand the tour van was traveling east toward Yellowstone National Park when a smash happened near Henry's Lake State Park on the U.S. Highway 20. The tour van was registered to a company based in California, it is understood. Both the truck, traveling west towards the Idaho Falls area, and the van caught fire after the impact. The flames were so fierce the bodies of several victims were left charred and unidentifiable for hours after they died, police had told reporters. The 8 other people in the van were injured, officers added. Speaking on Friday morning, Idaho State Police said, tragically, 6 individuals in the van and the driver of the pickup died as a result of the crash. Mr. Moreno, from Humble, which is near Houston in Texas, was the sole occupant of the pickup vehicle. A photo from a passerby near Yellowstone shows flames and billowing smoke near the wreck of the truck. The witness who took the photo, local resident Roger Merrill, said he was on his way home when he saw the wreckage. Both vehicles were on fire, he said, and bystanders were trying to care for the survivors on the side of the highway. The man added, "It is a very dangerous highway because it leads to the main entrance of Yellowstone National Park. It's extremely busy." The road was closed for 7 hours while emergency teams treated victims and cleared the crash site, about 16 miles, 25 kilometers, from Yellowstone's entrance. The oldest U.S. national park, it covers nearly 3,500 miles in 3 states, Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana. The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, is conducting an independent investigation because a commercial vehicle was involved and because of the magnitude of the crash. NTSB personnel have visited the scene and are reviewing evidence, according to police in Idaho. According to the most recent data from the International Trade Administration, 36% of international visitors who arrived to the U.S. by air-listed visits to national parks and national monuments as their top leisure activity while in the country. Yellowstone National Park, known for its breathtaking geysers and untamed beauty, became the scene of unimaginable horror this week. A peaceful morning tour turned deadly after a passenger van carrying sightseers careened off a mountain road and plunged into a ravine, killing 7 people and critically injuring 3 more. Now, days after the tragic incident, police have released a major update shedding new light on what really happened. And the truth is more disturbing than anyone expected. A routine tour turns into tragedy. It was supposed to be a day of awe and wonder. The van, operated by a local eco-tour company, known for its scenic drives through Yellowstone's upper loop, departed from West Yellowstone early Monday morning with 10 passengers and a single driver. The itinerary included stops at Mammoth Hot Springs, Norris Geyser Basin, and Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, an unforgettable day for tourists from across the country. But shortly after 9:00 a.m., emergency services received a flurry of frantic 911 calls. Witnesses reported seeing a white van swerving dangerously near the Grand Loop Road, narrowly missing a cyclist before disappearing over a guardrail. The 200-foot drop into a wooded ravine was unforgiving. By the time rescue teams arrived, 7 people were already dead. In the initial hours, investigators were cautious. Weather conditions were clear. The road was dry. There was no sign of an animal darting out or any other natural explanation. The question hung heavy in the air. How could a professional tour driver lose control on a calm, straight stretch of road? The first clues. As survivors were extracted from the wreckage, 2 tourists and the driver, the picture began to take shape. The driver, 42-year-old Mark Lathrop, was found conscious but disoriented, muttering incoherently about a shadow in the road and not being able to stop. Toxicology reports are pending, but police now say early indicators suggest no alcohol or drugs were involved. However, what detectives did find sent chills through the investigation. The van's dashcam, which continued recording for several minutes after the crash, captured Lathrop breathing heavily, whispering apologies, and repeatedly saying, "I didn't mean to do it." Investigators confirmed that the vehicle had no mechanical failures. Brakes were functional. Tires were intact. In fact, footage and data retrieved from the van's internal system indicated Lathrop had not attempted to brake at all before the crash. A deliberate act. In a somber press conference held Tuesday evening, Park County Sheriff Alina Roberts addressed the growing concern among families and parkgoers. "We can now confirm that the crash was not caused by a mechanical error or environmental condition," she stated. "Evidence strongly suggests the driver intentionally drove the vehicle off the road." This bombshell revelation stunned the local community and rippled through national headlines. Lathrop, a 10-year veteran of Yellowstone tour operations and a former park ranger, had no prior criminal record. But according to law enforcement, that's not the full story. A troubled past emerges. As part of their ongoing investigation, police uncovered troubling entries in Lathrop's personal journal, retrieved from his home in Bozeman, Montana. In the weeks leading up to the crash, the entries became increasingly erratic and paranoid. He wrote of hearing voices and believing Yellowstone was not what it seems, referring cryptically to cleansing the sacred ground. "This is a man who was clearly struggling with severe mental health issues," said Sheriff Roberts. Unfortunately, there were no red flags raised to his employer or those close to him. Now, a criminal investigation is underway, and Lathrop is in custody at a federal medical facility where he is being evaluated for psychiatric competency. Authorities say he could face multiple counts of second-degree murder if deemed mentally fit for trial. Victims remembered. The victims of the crash have been identified, ranging in age from 28 to 74. They include Margaret Lynn, 61, a retired teacher from Sacramento; Daniel and Jessica Haynes, newlyweds from Philadelphia on their honeymoon; Thomas Tommy Ray, 74, a former park ranger revisiting Yellowstone after 30 years; Priya Singh, 28, a graduate student from New Delhi, India; Caleb and Nora Peters, siblings from Fort Worth, Texas, traveling with their parents. Memorials have been erected at several visitor centers across the park. Tourists have left flowers, handwritten notes, and small stones bearing the victims' names, a Yellowstone tradition symbolizing enduring memory. This place was supposed to bring people peace, said park guide Alina Mendez, who knew several of the victims. They came here to connect with nature, with wonder. It's devastating that it ended like this. New safety measures enacted. In response to the crash, Yellowstone authorities are conducting a full review of all commercial vehicle operators and have instituted mandatory mental health screenings for drivers. Tour operations are suspended until further notice on the upper loop. We owe it to the victims and their families to make sure something like this never happens again, said National Park Service Director David Vela. A nation watches and waits. As Yellowstone continues to welcome thousands of visitors each day, the shadow of the crash still lingers over the geysers and canyons. The rugged wilderness has always been a place of awe and risk, but never before has it faced a tragedy quite like this. Families of the victims are calling for accountability and asking why no one noticed the signs that Lathrop was unraveling. Lawsuits are already being filed against the tour company, claiming negligence for failing to assess the driver's mental state. As federal and local authorities piece together the final moments leading up to the crash, one truth has emerged with painful clarity. Beneath the beauty of Yellowstone, a human tragedy unfolded that no one saw coming.